Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you a really delicious soup recipe if you're feeling a little bit under the weather, or if your weather outside is not feeling so great. This is the soup that will warm you from within. And the best part is it couldn't be easier to put together. Let me show you how to make it. So the first thing you want to do is have 2 pounds of cauliflower florets. Now, this time of year, cauliflower is in season, so there should be no excuse getting it fresh. If you see cauliflower that has little brown marks on it, keep moving and make this soup when the cauliflower is fresh, because that means it's been sitting out a while. And I find when you get the heads of cauliflower, that's usually the freshest. I find the bagged cauliflower is usually the cauliflower that's been sitting out a bit, so you're better off buying the whole cauliflower. Then you want to add 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And then you also want to add a teaspoon of curry powder. I find that this is really the secret ingredient because it gives this soup a delicious warming sensation. It just fixes you right up if you have like cold aches and pains or you just don't feel so great. I love a curry powder soup. All right, then we're also going to season to taste with a little salt and pepper. And then you can toss this up until everything is coated. The idea is we are going to roast this cauliflower first, just to get the best flavor out of it. Sometimes I feel like cauliflower doesn't have much flavor if you just kind of puree it in the hot broth. So I like to take this extra step. It only takes about 10 to 15 minutes. Then go ahead and transfer your cauliflower onto a sheet pan and then shake it out so it's a single layer. And then the other thing you want to add are 2 garlic cloves. So I sliced the garlic cloves to put them in there so that they roast and don't burn. If you just mince them and put them in there, they'd have a tendency of burning. Then we are going to bake this at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for just about 10 to 15 minutes. While our cauliflower is in the oven, we can start with our soup base. So in a large Dutch oven, you want to set this on a medium-high flame. And then to that, we're going to add a tablespoon of olive oil, a cup of diced yellow onion. You could use white onion. I just feel that the yellow has a little bit more flavor. And a half a cup of diced celery. And then you can also season this with a little bit of salt and pepper. We don't want to go too nuts because remember we put a lot of salt and pepper in the cauliflower and that's ultimately going to be coming in here too. Then you just want to saute these vegetables until they become nice and fragrant and translucent. Then once your veggies look like this, you can add your broth. You can use vegetable broth or chicken broth. I'm using chicken broth just because I find the veggie broth sometimes has too many carrots in it and it turns the soup orange. But if you don't care, by all means, you can use vegetable broth. I'm doing 6 cups of broth. If you want it a little bit thicker, you could do 4. And then you also want to add 1 russet potato that you have peeled and diced. And I add the potato just to make it a little bit thicker and creamier. Then you just want to put your lid on and let this go for about 5 to 7 minutes, just until the potato is fork tender. Then when the cauliflower is done, it should look like this. Be nice and fork tender and golden brown in areas. If you feel like your cauliflower isn't browning the way you want, you can turn the heat up to 475. That usually does the trick. And then the other thing I like to do is save a few pieces of cauliflower that are kind of flat on the bottom for garnishing your soup. Because once it's done, it does look pretty to garnish it with some roasted cauliflower. So now that our potatoes are knife tender, it's a good time to add our cauliflower. I just add them in here just for a few minutes to warm through. They're already pretty much cooked and fork tender, but it'll be easier to blend the whole thing up as one soup. There, okay, so you can just stir that up, and I would just give it maybe 2 to 3 minutes. Then we're going to transfer the soup into a blender. You may need to do this in batches, depending upon how big your blender is. As you can see, this blender is pretty full, so I might be asking for it. But because I'm shooting this as well as cooking this at the same time, expediency is my goal. So I am going to just put this on top. We are not going to blast this at full speed. We're going to do it very slowly. And hopefully this will not go everywhere. There, okay, looks pretty good. No splatters. Then once it's all blended, you could pour it back into your cleaned out stock pot and you'll see how smooth and creamy and delicious it is. This soup also freezes beautifully too if you want to make a big batch to last throughout the week. I think this is the perfect consistency. If you wanted to thin it out a little bit with some more broth, you could. At this point, I would suggest tasting it just to see if it needs any more seasoning. Oh, that's really delicious. I don't think it needs any more salt and pepper, but I do like to up the curry because I really do love it. And I think there's just something so nice about the little spice. So I put another teaspoon at this point in the soup. If you haven't cooked with a lot of curry before, maybe taste it at like a half a teaspoon. And if you like it and you want a little more, then add the full teaspoon. All right, and then you just want to whisk that in. And it also has a beautiful color too. Okay, then let me show you how I like to garnish this soup. So go ahead and ladle it into a bowl. If you have a bowl that's dark, I think it looks really pretty against the light color of the soup. Then I like to add just a little drizzle of olive oil. That'll give it a really nice, smooth and luxurious texture. And then I also like to add some freshly torn parsley just to give it a little bit of freshness. And then you can add your roasted cauliflower that we set aside. Might be a little bit easier to do it with your hands, then it won't sink. And if you'd like, a little freshly cracked pepper on top. And then another thing I like to serve with this soup that's good are these little oven-baked cheese bites. Have you guys seen these from Trader Joe's? They're my new favorite thing. I'll link to them below. They're really great because they just give you another additional flavor. They're kind of like a cracker, but because they're all cheese, they're gluten-free. So if that is a consideration for anybody, give them a try. Or if you don't have a Trader Joe's near you, you can make my Parmesan tools, and I'll leave you a link to that recipe below. Just 2 ingredients, and they're equally delicious. And there you have it, a delicious wintertime soup that I hope you will enjoy. And if you would like to be the first to get my newest videos straight to your inbox, subscribe to my newsletter. The link is below, and that way you won't miss an episode. All right, you guys, I'll see you back here next time. Until then, bye.